145 pounds looks a lot different depending on the body types.
Yep.
You see this a lot in MMA.
Caleb has been actively competing in some ADCC Opens, so he's been competing a lot in tough no-gi rule sets. So it'll be interesting to see how he matches up with Mando. Mando is a high-level MMA fighter as well as a grappler, having competed in the Ultimate Fighter and being an active pro.
Oh, right
Mando
to the
right
mount.
in the mount. Like I said, if you haven't seen Mando grapple, he is incredibly exciting. He'll go for twisters, flying submissions, slams, takedowns. He kind of does it all. Incredibly strong, incredibly explosive.
Dante Leon in the corner.
And like we said in the earlier matches, they're dry right now on the mount, which makes submissions from here a lot more available. And he's right away on the arm triangle.
Arm triangle.
I think this is going to be tight. Coach Dante Leon asking to get his head to the mat. And which he does,
really, really
and
tight.
I think this is going to be enough to tighten
We're going to be
this up.
3 for 3 so far on 3 quick submissions after 3 quick matches.
Yeah, we often have a very high submission rate at Midwest finishers. Caleb giving the thumbs up, it looks like, saying he's okay. Sometimes the taller, lankier guys are a little harder to finish with the triangles and arm triangles because they can create a little bit more space than a kind of a thicker grappler whose shoulder will hit the neck earlier. So Mando did give up on the choke, and now he's looking for a kind of a high guard triple attack, just like we saw from Justice earlier in our opening match.
He's going for the kipping escape, trying to isolate a leg off it. Ezekiel. Wow, Nogi Ezekiel straight away. Mother's milk.
I know he's just kind of all over, just going for submission after a submission, creating reactions.
Oh, look at that, the smother.
It looked like a tight smother.
We're seeing the smother become very, very popular nowadays as well.
Well, like you said earlier, it just creates reaction. Even if you don't get the tap, no one wants to be there. You don't want to get your nose broken. You don't want to get the air cut off. You're going to move. You're going to give exposures. So
he's threatening, Nogi Ezekiel's. He's threatening the smother. Just giving all types of reactions.
To Caleb's credit, he's staying tough. He's not giving up. He's just creating small angles to get out and create space. But he just can't get anything offensive going against the pressure and the power of Mando Gutierrez.
Another chair sit right to the back. Gets the body triangle locked in. A lot of time to work here. Looks like the choke might be set in. Kind of hard to see from our angle.
Yeah, we can't see the actual choking position. But that body triangle is, that looks very tight.
That looks...
Caleb just pulling with those hands, trying to create a little space on the wrist. He's doing a good job. He's trying to hand fight and keep that connection away.
That's tight. Now Mando's using his chest, getting his whole body into the choke.
I think this is just a matter of time before he's able to force it. But no, Caleb does a great job pulling those hands.
Really good job. And for those of you that aren't familiar, this is EBI overtime, so both of these guys have probably been doing a ton of attacking and defending from the back.
Yeah, you're hoping preparation,
Yeah, some of the prep might be paying its dividends right here. That was a very, very tight rear naked choke.
And it looks like Mando's under the neck again with his right arm. It looks like he's doing a little bit less squeeze on this one. He's just taking his time.
Yeah, that one looks like it might be tight. Yeah, that's under the neck.
Caleb just keeps getting a little bit of space to create a separation.
Wow. It's not too often you see a fully locked in rear naked under the chin like that, and someone's able to.
Especially against the power like Mando has for this weight class.
Like you were saying, when they're long and lanky like that, they could use these little wedges to create little pockets of air to breathe through.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see from our angle. It looks like it was over.
Tough, plus you just can't account for toughness.
Yeah.
Caleb was clearly just a tough kid.
Yeah,
no matter what, he's not going to tap unless it's going to put him to sleep. That can honestly be frustrating, too, for an opponent where you have 2 or 3 chokes you think are set and you think you have the fight over and you squeeze hard and you don't get that tap.
Absolutely.
That can really frustrate guys. Mando back to the arm triangle. Now he's doing, it looks like almost like an arm triangle Ezekiel with that left hand inside.
Still not even quite halfway through the match. And again, he's going for the arm triangle on the other side this time, though.
Yeah, we'll see if Caleb just sits up and wedges his arm out.
Wow.
Very impressive defense and survival skills.
Defense.
And we'll see if you can get anything. Oh, buggy choke thrown up. Now this is where we might see the stand up to get out. If he stands up and picks Caleb up, that is an escape, and they will reset on the feet. And Mando doesn't have to. Immediately kind of pulls through, trying to get inside to the mount, and then he jumps to the other side, clearing the hook. And now he looks to isolate the arm again. They're going to reset in the center. So a really dominant performance for Mando, but Caleb is showing all kinds of survival skills. He's going to be a tough out no matter what.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can start changing the course of this match a little bit. Obviously, much easier said than done against a killer like Mando.
And this is got to be kind of demoralizing as well. Like, you're putting a lot of really tight chokes in. I mean, I wonder how much gas is, being used on the arms as well, just from all the squeezing.
And as a competitor, this makes you start wondering, are you going to start looking for something like an arm lock Kimura as opposed to neck, if his neck is seemingly like very hard to catch. Maybe start looking for a joint lock, see if his joints have that same kind of defensive flexibility.
Right. And for those of you that are watching and aren't familiar, whatever happens in this 10-minute regulation period, it has to be a submission for you to take the match. And so if there is no submission, it goes to what we call an EBI overtime rule set. So it's something to keep in mind. I mean, even though we're seeing Mando very successful here in the regulation period, if he isn't able to secure a submission, it does take us right to the overtime period where they'll be able to have a shootout and see who moves on.
And I would definitely say, even though Caleb has been taking a lot of pressure, he is probably using overall less energy because he's just surviving, where Mando's putting an extreme pace on. This is the kind of pace that you want to see grapplers keep, but very few guys can. So we'll see if he can keep it up all. The coaches are asking him to use the arm extension to get to the back, and he's able to create a little bit of an angle. But Caleb's doing such a good job just not giving him what he wants, frustrating him. Looked like he was thinking about an armbar there, which again may not be a bad idea to see if his joint chair sit to the back.
Gets the body triangle again.
Caleb just looks comfortable. I wouldn't be surprised if we might see a twister load up from Mando. We've seen him win by twisters before.
Just trying to find.
Caleb doing a better hand fighting job this time, not letting Mando get as deep into the chokes as he did in the earlier back situation. But Mando keeps getting under that chin. Again, he has a nice deep grip. Caleb keeping the arm wedged inside and trying to push the elbow up to try to fade it. He might turn it into a face crank, which might actually have more success at this point than the choke.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It just seems like he can't find that finishing leverage.
No. Caleb just doing too good a job keeping his neck just out of danger. Now we're back to the mount. Time is getting short in the match. If this was a points match, it might be 30-0, but in a sub-only EBI round, it's an even match into this point. Arm triangle again from Mando. And again, the thumbs up from Caleb. He says he's fine from this position.
Looks like about 2 minutes still left here to work. I mean, this has been a solid 8 minutes of just Mando relentlessly going for attacks here, and Caleb doing a really good job staying alive, not giving him the finishing leverage he needs to get the submission.
Yeah. Winner, Mando's clearly in control so far in the regulation, but going out of this, he's going to be a little frustrated they had to use this much energy this early in the tournament with so many tough matches ahead, even if he gets the win here.
I agree.
Because, again, when you get this, I mean, he's had probably 7 or 8 really good looks at Caleb's neck between rear naked chokes and arm triangles. You generally are very rarely going to have to do that in the course of a whole tournament, let alone one match. A little bit of a smother attempt looking.
He's trying to crank the neck.
He's just trying to do anything to get Caleb out of here. We're down to 90 seconds or so left in the fight. We may be going to overtime. And again, when you go into overtime after one person has been in dominant position for so long and shown his back game, it kind of sometimes will change the outcome in that Caleb has shown all his back defense, kind of felt Mando's attacks, but we haven't seen anything from Caleb yet.
And if you don't know, for all we know, he could start on Mando's back.
And he may have
secure. He might just have hit a quick submission that he likes, or is able to
he might have a great armbar from Spiderweb.
Yeah.
That being said, we have seen Mando in RBI overtime rounds here, and he is hard to hold on the back, and he has obviously shown he has very good back attacks himself. So getting Mando on your back is not necessarily, even if you survived it earlier, not where I'd want to be.
Right. One thing Caleb's had a lot of success with is finding his way back to the mount position from the back, and if he's able to do that in that overtime period, that is considered an escape.
Yep. Coach Dantileone asking for an arm lock. Like we talked about earlier, it might be a good choice just to go see what it is because his neck is just not there.
Dante calling for the old.
There's a short time left on this armbar triangle attempt. This is the first time Caleb's been on top at all this match. 10 seconds or so left. So this has to be a quick one if he wants to get the tap. And I wonder if he's going to be burning a lot of gas on these arms as he's about to go into overtime. Caleb with such a wide, long base time, and we will hit the overtime. Caleb looks fresh after all that survival. Really, really gutsy performance. Really enjoyed watching him had ability to survive out of those bad positions. And now we're headed to overtime. Mando has the first choice as the clear dominant player in the opening round. He's going to choose back on Caleb, not surprisingly. So now we're on a completely new match as we hit overtime. Right away, Mando gets the body triangle.
So, obviously pretty reminiscent of a lot of the regulation period where Caleb showed that he was able
Mando is really trying to wedge that hand in, but Caleb doing such a good job getting to wrist control and creating just enough space on his left side to keep him off fully locking in that choke.
Looks like the...
He finally gets the tap.
He gets the tap.
So Caleb is going to have, I'm guessing, 25, 30 seconds, somewhere like that, before he gets this to catch the submission. So in these overtimes, he has the 30 seconds to submit. If he does not, whether Mando escapes or not, the round is over. If he gets a submission before that, he wins this round. So not only does he have to get the submission, he has to do it quickly, so Mando just needs to survive. He doesn't even need to escape to move on into the second round. Mando goes belly down. If he just continues to turn, it's going to be hard for Caleb to finish the choke, but belly down is not where you want to be in these situations.
And he's out.
And with that, Mando is out. So dominant performance, but it took a lot of energy for Mando to get the submission over Caleb Brown. Very, very tough survival skills coming from Caleb Brown.